Crime Fighters, the #1 security program on television.
It is always a pleasure to have you with us on your #1 security program on television, Crime Fighters, the Police, and You. On this episode, we bring to you an interview Crime Fighters had with the Commissioner of Police at Edo State Command, Mr. Emmanuel Kachi Udoji, who spoke about the effort being made by his command in fighting crime and criminality in the state. While on Crime Scene segment, we bring you the story of Owolabi Ismaila, a young man who was arrested by men of the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad for allegedly snatching a car belonging to a man living around his vicinity. And this was how Nemesis caught up with Owolabi, because this victim knew him well to identify him before the police. Why not sit back and watch so that you could get the details of the story? I am Francis Owaro. Stay tuned. Welcome to another exciting edition of the interview segment of Crime Fighters, the Police, and You. I am Francis Owaro, and today we'll be speaking with the Commissioner of Police at Edo State Command, and the person of Mr. Emmanuel Kachi Udoji, Fellow of the War College. It's good to have you on board, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
It was all over the news about your recent exploit in the rescue operations of some kidnap victims, particularly the professor in the University of Benin. How were you able to mobilize your men for this successful operation?
What happened was that by virtue of the communication equipment we now have in place provided by the state government, we were able to get in touch with our patrol vehicles on ground as soon as we were informed that the professor had been taken. And we now scrambled our vehicles and our patrolmen and then gave them direction. The kidnappers were headed with their victims, and they immediately gave a chase, and we called patrol vehicles from all directions. And after a long while of cat and mouse game, we caught up with the kidnappers, because our vehicles now sandwiched the vehicle they were using. And because of the fact that my operatives were careful, they didn't know who was up the kidnapped or who was the kidnapper. They didn't just shoot indiscriminately. So by the time they were able to distinguish between the kidnapper and the kidnapped, the kidnappers had fled and were able to rescue the professor very safely without any injury to anybody.
Apart from the kidnapping issue, what other crime is Edo State noted for?
Well, I am barely 2 months old here, so I was told that hitherto robbery was something that was very prevalent in this place. So. But by virtue of the kind of patrols we've mounted and nipping points and intelligence gathering network, we have been able to put at bay the issue of armed robbery. Armed robbery in Edo State is not anything that is it's not common. You hardly will hear of any robbery in Benin in a week. So it's a situation we have virtually put under control in Edo State. Armed robbery.
For the period that you've been here, in charge of the command, how would you rate crime in the state?
Well, for a place as diverse and metropolitan like Benin, it is expected that the level of criminality, will be relatively above average. For the while I've been here, save for kidnapping, which we have to a large extent brought down, because before I arrived here, some days they will have 7, 8, 5, 6 people kidnapped. But with all sense of humility since I arrived here, maybe one in a week or some weeks you don't even have any. So even kidnapping in itself, we are getting around it, and we are making every effort to stamp it out. The one thing working for us now is that by virtue of a particular arrest we made, we are now being able, to get from that very source the main people behind kidnapping in this state, and we are gradually picking them one after the other. And that way we have decimated fundamentally the pool of criminals who are behind the kidnapping in this state. And we are believing that by the time we are able to exploit and completely utilize the information we're getting from the suspect to have in our custody, we really will be on the way to eradicating kidnapping in Edo State.
Do you face any constraint in the process of carrying out security operations in the state?
Because fundamentally, yes. Security operations involve a lot of logistics in terms of transport, communication, gadgets like information gathering gadgets, body armor, personnel carriers, name it. These things are not usually very available, but with the assistance of the state government, who has made available some patrol vehicles, and like I earlier said, has put in place a communication system, and it's encouraging us in a lot of ways. We are being able to do the best we can, but certainly we have limitations. And if these things could be made available in reasonable quantity and whatever, it will help us in fighting crime and reducing crime to its barest minimum. So fundamentally, yes, we have challenges in terms of logistics.
What's your security agenda for Edo State?
My vision is that while I serve here, I will do everything that lies within me, working together with my men and the community to bring crime to its lowest minimum. It's not possible to eradicate crime in its entirety in any society, but my vision is that a time will come when in this state the level of crime will be so reduced that it will be taken for granted and people will go about their business without any harassment, and nobody will be scared of being kidnapped or being robbed or mugged anywhere.
Not too long ago, there was this a bomb scare in the State House of Assembly, and coupled with this recent kidnapping incident, a lot of people are scared, so to say, as regard their own protection of lives and property in the state. What word of reassurance do you have for the people of Edo State as regard the protection of their lives and property?
Well, I sincerely don't know what you mean by a bomb scare, because in the case of Edo State, by intelligence, we were tipped off that there are some explosives that are lying somewhere, and the bomb disposal unit went there and disarmed the explosives 2 times, one in the State Assembly and the other at the broadcasting house. In each of those cases, we were proactive. We got to the scene before it disabled the explosives, which were improvised explosive devices. So there was no point in time when there was any scare in this state as to bomb explosion, because wherever it was, we got there on time and then disabled it. With regards to what I have to tell the members of public in this state about security is to reassure them that we are on top of the situation. We are doing the best we can in the circumstance, and thank God that our efforts are yielding fruits. Without any sense of a modesty, I arrived there about 2 months ago, and I can assure you that from the statistics available to us, crime has really gone down considerably.
So, the people of Edo State, would love to have some security tips from you.
Well, fundamentally, security is a relative thing. If you talk in terms of security of your person, I would advise that citizens should be very careful and aware of the environment. Wherever you are, be very aware of your environment and watch out for any suspicious movements, because the people that will kidnap you will not be familiar persons, and they will be lurking somewhere in the corner. Some people will just drive to their gate and not minding that some unknown faces are around the place. What they should have done is just continue and maybe alert the police. They will just drive into the hands of people waiting to take them. And if you are driving on the road and you observe some uncomfortable mode of driving, what you need to do is to beware and shake off. If he's following you, then drive and don't go straight. Maybe end up in a police station so that he will not flow into the place. Then for residences, people should secure their places, make sure they're under lock and key, restrict access to your premises. If people you don't know are coming around, be able to screen them and know who they are so that undesirable elements don't invade your whatever. And then be very willing to divulge information immediately it happens so that the police could act on it and bring to book those who are trying to disturb the peace of the place. But the truth of the matter is that these things don't come easy. You have to work hard. So I would ask that, because the preponderance of those who commit these crimes are young people, most of them are undergraduates, that they should face their books, read their books clearly, and then take a career in life, and then over time, make money that can get them these good things of life they want to get overnight.
What's your opinion about crime fighters?
My opinion is that they're doing a good job. They are helping the police say the side of the story that nobody gets to hear. By your activities, at least, we are having an opportunity to state what we're trying to do and what exactly is on the ground. In that way, there will be some balance in information made available to the public. So to that extent, I believe that the crime fighters are doing a good job, and that is a program that should be encouraged.
This brings us to the end of this exciting edition of our interview segment, and we've been speaking with the Commissioner of Police, Edo State Command, Mr. Emmanuel Kachi Odoji. And thank you so much for being a part of this program.
Thank you. You're welcome, and I wish you a safe journey back to your destination. Okay.
Thank you, sir. It's been Francis Owaro. Stay tuned for more.
Crime fight.